Northern part of the squall line getting into a little bit more stable air and calming down a bit. Still very, very favorable for tornadoes in the south. Here we see by the lightning where those thunderstorms extend all the way from western Ohio, western New York, western Pennsylvania, down through the Ohio and Tennessee valleys, even into Louisiana right now. Some of the storms that have originally been out ahead of the line, like you see here in eastern Tennessee, and then this next line across northern Alabama, that's where the greatest tornado threat is right at the moment. We've shifted our greatest threat area a little bit farther to the south. Pennsylvania beginning to get a little bit more stable. Northern Alabama, eastern Tennessee, still very dangerous situations. By tomorrow, most of these thunderstorms will be pushing toward the coast, but still a threat of severe weather in the mid-Atlantic region. Taking a look now from starting in the south, some of these dangerous supercell thunderstorms coming across Alabama. A number of tornado warnings there. Fayette County, Morgan, Marshall, and Walker counties in Alabama. Some of these big clusters of thunderstorms may, in the next hour and a half, get toward the Birmingham area. They're also coming toward the Huntsville area. Taking a look in the Pittsburgh area, big line of thunderstorms now. No tornado warnings on these storms, but damaging winds possible coming into Pittsburgh an hour from now. Tornado warning that had been up in northwest Pennsylvania has expired, but Venango County up around Oil City, severe thunderstorm warning there. Becomes primarily a line of thunderstorms, a few damaging winds, a few embedded supercells, but primarily losing the tornado threat in southeast Ohio. No tornado warnings now in Ohio or Kentucky. Still a number of tornado warnings in Tennessee, Bledsoe, Claiborne, Knox, Union, and Granger counties, as well as Madison, Noxubee, and Winston counties in Mississippi. As they say, from Tennessee and southward, still very favorable. Atlanta, watch out after midnight.
All right, thanks, Dr. Forbes. It's been a long day already. Could be a long night. We'll be checking in with Dr. Forbes again in the next half hour.
As we told you earlier in the show, the town of Van Wert, Ohio was hit by a tornado this afternoon. There were reports of buildings and homes damaged or destroyed and people trapped. Joining me on the phone now is Linda Sputz, spokesman for the Van Wert County Sheriff's Department. What is the situation there right now?
Right now things have settled just a little bit. We are still doing a road-to-road, house-to-house search. We are in the process of getting some of the roads barricaded that are totally impassable, and just basically trying to double-check homes and make sure that we have all the injured, all of the injured out of the homes.
Confirmed fatalities at this point?
We have 2 confirmed dead and 17 confirmed injured at this point.
And Linda, where should people go for help? What should they do, basically?
Right now, centers have been set up at Van Wert High School and at Trinity Friends Church for those that need assistance. The Red Cross is on the scene, and several other of the agencies from our local area are there helping and just trying to help those that basically have nothing left.
Oh, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Well, let's get another update on the very severe weather in parts of the south. Here's Warren.
All right, thanks very much, Rick. Very nasty day going on and into the night now here with this cold front. This thing has really been causing big problems. Not unprecedented, though. 10 years ago, almost to the day, we had another severe weather outbreak in November. In fact, a town just south of Van Wert hit hard in western Ohio in that outbreak, Arcanum. And so, you know, it just goes to show fall severe weather outbreaks can and do occur, so never let your guard down, especially if you think that spring is the only time it can happen. One of the factors going into this has been the big contrast in air temperatures on either side of that front. Highs today reached the low 70s, Columbus, Indianapolis, and heading south of St. Louis. But behind it, very cold, only in the 20s today across North Dakota into northwestern Minnesota, 44 in Minneapolis. Right now, a little bit of snow falling, southern Minnesota into northern Iowa, and then as we head farther east, we get that big massive rain and that massive tornado watches still out there. All of that rain could really add up. We could see well over an inch from Rochester and Buffalo, south through Lexington, Knoxville, Nashville, and farther south. Watch out for some very poor driving conditions tomorrow morning as that water is trying to run off. Speaking of tomorrow, we should have a quieter day. Some morning showers in Chicago, 46 in St. Louis, 53 in Louisville. So much cooler weather coming in. Minneapolis only up to 36 degrees, partly cloudy. Now to the south, where here too we've been seeing severe weather. Same cold front, same activity happening, and unfortunately we're not done with it yet. As Dr. Forbes mentioned, still tornado warnings posted in Mississippi, Tennessee, and Alabama. And if you're watching from Georgia, watch out. These are headed your direction. There is a tornado watch now in southwestern Georgia and western Florida. Overnight could pick up well over an inch here also precipitation as that cold front presses in. And as we look ahead to the day tomorrow, we are calling for a stormy day, especially the Carolinas, Atlanta, south toward Orlando. New Orleans, you too might see a few thunderstorms around, with a high temperature reaching up to the range of about the upper 70s. That's a little more than average, but watch out, some wet weather to contend with in the Crescent City. Let's take ourselves north and westward now with Rick.
Well, Warren, let's head on to the northeast, where the winds have been out of the south all day, and it's a very mild evening. Of course, we have the severe weather off to the west, with a tornado watch in effect western Pennsylvania, parts of West Virginia at this hour, and some very impressive thunderstorms heading out of eastern Ohio into northwest Pennsylvania at this hour. In Pittsburgh, you will be impacted by these storms not too long from now, so keep it tuned here to the Weather Channel. Much more garden variety, showers and maybe a thunder shower in parts of Connecticut and southern Rhode Island. The showers heading up towards Boston, where it's a mild 63. It's 70 now in our nation's capital. And the weather will continue unusually warm for November. Monday, look for highs in the 60s and the 70s. Stay with us. Well, let's take a quick look at the west, where the weather was very nice today over Southern California and the desert Southwest. After a rainy beginning to the weekend, the sun was back in Phoenix, fair skies in Las Vegas and Los Angeles, but pockets of rain and snow continue across the plateau. With a cool evening, 40 degrees in Salt Lake, 39 in Denver, crisp 21 in Cut Bank, but a nice mild and fair 73 in Phoenix. It's 67 in LA and 57 in San Francisco. What's up for your Monday? Well, delightful autumn weather in the southwest, sunny skies, mid-70s in Phoenix and Los Angeles. You'll need your jacket to stay comfortable in Salt Lake City, and probably your umbrella in Seattle and Portland as the light rain continues, and just a bit more snow over the high country of Colorado and south central Wyoming. Well, let's get a look at what's going to be coming up for your Monday around the rest of the nation.
And we take a look at tomorrow's forecast tonight, and we'll see what we've got in store for you. And unfortunately, if you're watching from the eastern seaboard, get the umbrellas ready, because it is going to be a rather wet day out there. Here we go. That same cold front moving eastward, and we could again see some stormy weather in terms of severe weather possible here from the mid-Atlantic south through the Carolinas into Georgia. So please do stay with the Weather Channel. We'll let you know about any watches and warnings issued by the National Weather Service. Much quieter weather as we go back into the center of the nation, but as we take it region by region, you'll see here, actually these are Sunday's forecast. Let's go ahead and get through these and get into the precipitation forecast here. And we do have quite a lot in the way of precipitation on tap during the day on Monday. And there we go. Yeah, look at this. Through mid-morning, a big stripe of over an inch of precipitation possible from the Great Lakes south to the Gulf Coast. The overnight lows quite chilly behind the front. And as we look to the morning highs, the daytime highs, warm in the southeast.
Evening Edition is sponsored by Toyota. Get the feeling.
Toyota Toyota Sienna and ET the Extraterrestrial, bringing families together.
Thrifty.com. Great cars, great rates, 24/7.
It's not that you can get a seasoned grilled chicken breast sandwich with cheddar cheese, crispy onion rings, and sweet hickory.
Different twisters. Two of those people were a couple from Montgomery County, Tennessee. WKRN reporter Jay Korf has details.
Karen Tooby and her husband Dennis married in his country of Australia, but they settled down in rural Montgomery County in a mobile home. Dennis was a welder, Karen a first-grade teacher at Hazelwood Elementary. Her principal, Rhonda Kennedy.
Karen was the first one here every morning, just about.
They were considerate and careful. In fact, friends say they anchored down their mobile home better than most, just in case severe weather hit.
Oh, you can't describe it. I mean, there's stuff scattered for a mile.
It did at 1:30 a.m.
As you can see, we've got a mess on our hands right now.
Ferocious winds ripped the mobile home right off its foundation.
The straps that tie this mobile home down were literally snapped in two.
And tossed the structure across Port Royal Road.
It appears that the mobile home has traveled perhaps 100, 150 feet.
The Toobies were presumably asleep inside. They did not survive.
As you see, we've lost two Montgomery Countyans here.
Now Rhonda Kennedy is faced with telling parents that their beloved teacher is gone.
Her parents have cried all morning when we called them. What do we tell our children? You know, how do we do this?
And family, friends, and neighbors like Billy Sykes now have the somber task of cleaning up and searching for anything that they can salvage that will remind them of two loved ones lost.
You don't ever know where it's going to set down. And if it had set down 100 yards back, everything would have been all right, wouldn't it?
No tornadoes reported in Cincinnati, Ohio, but the Queen City did see its share of stormy weather. Thunderstorms screamed into the town around dinner time. Residents out on the town, you had to dodge some very heavy rainfall. Your high today reached the upper 50s. Monday, though, should be less stormy and drier. A little cooler, too, the high in the low 50s.
Well, very dangerous and even life-threatening situation continues to unfold at this hour as severe and even tornadic thunderstorms blast across the Midwest and the South.
We'll have the latest coming up on Storm Watch. Stay with us.
Become the featured presentation at an invitation-only premiere by controlling who sees your resume and who doesn't, leaving just you, your resume, and the person who's hiring. Hotjobs.com.
The suggestion that Bird's Eye farmers start making soup got them pretty excited.
Mushy soup? No way. Not these beauties. Go!
I'd never put my Bird's Eye vegetables in a can of soup.
Who said anything about a can? The Bird's Eye farmers introduced Hearty Spoonfuls, frozen to lock in the freshest flavors. Hearty Spoonfuls has a rich seasoned broth loaded with delicious vegetables, chicken, pasta, or rice. Soup this good doesn't come from a can. It only comes from the farmers of Bird's Eye.
Now that's soup.
Hearty Spoonfuls. Find it with frozen entrees.
Toyota Sienna and ET the Extraterrestrial, bringing families together.
I sacrifice my weekends printing high-volume jobs and never get a thank you. He says things like win-win situation and gets a company car. If only I had better room presence.
Toshiba copiers make you look good.
To find a dealer near you, call 1-800-GO-TOSHIBA.
Tell your own fortune. Post your resume and see what tomorrow holds. Even if you already have a job, it's free, easy, and confidential. So log on and leave nothing to chance. Hotjobs.com.
It's easy to access weather.com on America Online. Just enter keyword weather or point and click. It's so simple you can quickly check the weather online and still have plenty of time left over to get outside and enjoy it. Weather.com on America Online. Keyword weather.
Didn't you say you were getting a cold?
Yes, but I used Zicam right away and got rid of it right away.
Didn't you say you were getting a cold?
I knocked it out with Zicam before it could knock me down.
Zicam Cold Remedy is different. It gets rid of the cold itself, not just the symptoms.
When you first feel a cold coming on, start using Zicam. It'll shorten the length and severity of your cold, so you can get over the cold 3 times faster and get back on your way.
Colds? They're tough to avoid, but now I get rid of them 3 times faster.
Zicam is available in original pump and now in a completely new form. Easy to use, medicated, disposable nasal swabs in regular and kid sizes. Getting a cold? Get Zicam and get rid of your cold 3 times faster.
I'm a skeptic, but Zicam really worked. I was over my cold in a couple of days instead of a week or more.
To purchase now or learn more about the Zicam family of products, log on to Zicam.com.
Now, from Evening Edition, here's your local on the 8s.
I'm Heather Tash. In the morning on your weather today, we'll have a look at your Veterans Day conditions. Some of you will find rain dampening your holiday plans. Now, if you do have to go to work, we'll let you know if there are any travel delays. Join Marshall Cease and me in the morning from 7 to 10 Eastern on your weather today.
Dangerous doesn't even begin to describe the weather conditions we have tonight from the southern Great Lakes to Mississippi and Alabama. Let's get right to it. A powerful cold front is marching eastward, and we have on our hands a full-scale fall severe weather outbreak. How bad has it been? Here's the storm reports that we have so far, and this is just the start of it. The National Weather Service still collecting data, getting it out to the public, and as we get more reports, we'll add more dots and blue squares and red inverted triangles to these maps, and just a very, very big severe weather outbreak. Lots of severe weather in northwestern Ohio, Van Wert, Ohio. Personal ties there. My in-laws are from the area. Fortunately, they're safe, but unfortunately, there have been reports of 2 fatalities, still lots of injuries out there, people trapped, and a lot of damage in Van Wert County. And then as we head farther south, we've had some pretty severe weather also, not too far from Clarksville, Tennessee. And there's also been tornadoes in Alabama and in Georgia today. And it's not over yet. We still have tornado watches posted by the National Weather Service from western Pennsylvania right down the Appalachians into the Tennessee River Valley, and then even farther south into the area of Jackson, Mississippi, eastern Louisiana, and then a little head of the line, another one here in the Florida Panhandle, reaching up into southeastern Alabama, southwestern Georgia. A lot of thunderstorms still roaring tonight. There's almost a continuous string of severe thunderstorm or tornado warnings in terms of counties from western Pennsylvania all the way south almost to the Gulf Coast, and a very, very extensive line of thunderstorms stretching across the entire region. We'll have more complete details as our severe weather expert Dr. Greg Forbes joins us again at the top of the hour to focus in on the worst of the weather right now. But all I can say is if you're getting ready to head off to bed and you're watching here from southwestern Ohio, western Pennsylvania, eastern Kentucky and Tennessee, heading down through northern Alabama, and even farther east into western North Carolina, western Georgia, the Atlanta metro, West Virginia, if you have a weather radio, if you're going to be turning me off or Rick off or here in the next hour or so, have that weather radio, get it set into alert mode, because you need to know if severe weather is threatening you, and use that alert mode to help the Weather Service help you to know when you need to be getting out of bed and taking shelter, because this severe weather is likely to continue right through the night. So please take this situation seriously. It is a very dangerous situation.
Well, that's about it for the first hour of Weather Channel Evening Edition, but stay with us.
Severe weather expert Dr. Greg Forbes will be back with the very latest on all of the explosive storms. We'll be right back as we bring you to local on the 8s.
Evening Edition is sponsored by Toyota. Get the feeling.
Toyota Sienna and ET the extraterrestrial, bringing families together.
Tired of playing the mortgage rate game? You know, when you hear one of those ads that promise you the moon and you call up only to find out that the points are too high and there are hidden fees attached? Well, at Ditech.com, there are no games, just low fixed rates with no middleman or broker fees. You can be pre-qualified online or over the telephone. There's no advance fees prior to closing and no cancellation fees. Do it now before the rates go up. Ditech.com. Call 1-800-71-FIXED.
Guess who?
Hello, Mr. Storm.
The dreaded telemarketer.
No, it's Strom.
Telemarketers got your number? Get the Telezapper, and soon those annoying calls will just about stop altogether. Available at stores everywhere.
Getting pumped before your next meeting? I like that strategy, but your game phase could use a little work. You have to go for everything that gives you an advantage over the competition.
Thanks.
Good job.
Business travelers need a good game plan. Count on everything from business services to room service.
Gritch up that nose. You just gotta feel the bass. You just gotta feel it.
Make 3 stays and earn 2 free nights. Call 1-888-MARRIOTT today. Marriott Hotels, Resorts, and Suites. Your Marriott awaits.
Oh, there's no place like home.
Lowe's brings home improvement home for the holidays. Lowe's has a holiday store within a store to make it easier than ever to decorate your home. And Lowe's has low prices every day, guaranteed. That's our promise. For 56 years, we've been helping families celebrate the holidays.
For the holidays, you can't beat home, sweet home.
And improving home improvement.
Tough heartburn? Try Extra Strength Mylanta. Nothing's faster or more soothing than Extra Strength Mylanta, the liquidator.
My brother Danny and me. He got a new truck. I got a bigger one. I've got a family. He's got a bigger one. Then my doctor tells me to start taking an aspirin every day for my heart. Just one tiny little St. Joseph aspirin. Well, maybe bigger isn't always better. Try telling him that.
Find fun in an unexpected place. A soup bowl with Campbell's Fun Favorites. 9 soups with shapes no kid can resist, like dinosaurs, alphabets, and this new one, goldfish pasta.
Serve up some fun with Campbell's.
Next Sunday night on Atmosphere, see why this coastal route spells danger.
You're slipping and sliding going down that narrow trail.
Plus, find out how even the worst weather can work wonders. Next Sunday night at 8 Eastern and Pacific on Atmosphere, only on the Weather Channel.
It's easy to access weather.com on America Online. Just enter keyword weather or point and click. It's so simple you can quickly check the weather online and still have plenty of time left over to get outside and enjoy it. Weather.com on America Online. Keyword weather.
The Weather Channel. Live by it. The Weather Channel is brought to you by this cable or satellite provider. You can also get reliable forecasts from the Weather Channel through this newspaper.
Now, from Evening Edition, here's your local on the 8s.
your area, 56 degrees under cloudy skies.
The Gulf Coast.
There are. We even have a tornado warning now in western New York, northwest Pennsylvania. 17 tornado warnings in all. Most of them, though, are from Tennessee down into Alabama and Mississippi, where still the air is very unstable, still lots of wind shear. Here's the situation at the surface. Surface winds coming very strong out of the Gulf of Mexico, lots of warm, moist air. Temperatures still in the 70s. So you can see why just ahead of this cold front, lots of instability from Tennessee southward. Not quite as rich moisture and humidity and heat as you go farther to the north, but lots of upper air forcing. Here we see temperatures still well up into the 70s, much cooler farther to the north. The activity should die down in the more northern states as we get farther into the evening. Here in the upper air, water vapor imagery shows this big swirling disturbance, strong jet stream pushing across the region. The core of the activity continues to stretch from the Tennessee Valley down toward the Gulf Coast states. Lightning, cloudy grid lightning, almost a continuous line now. Some of these little forays east of the line are the places that have the storms in eastern Tennessee, northern Alabama that are the most dangerous at this time. Let's start from south to north. Severe thunderstorms coming right across Jackson, Mississippi. You're under severe thunderstorm warning. In Mississippi, Noxubee, Winston, Copiah, Rankin, and Hinds counties, tornado warnings from northeast across central and Mississippi. Alabama, we've had reports of major damage in Walker and Winston counties. That's up northwest of Birmingham, and still tornado warnings there. Walker, Madison, Winston, Coleman, Fayette counties, as you see these large supercell thunderstorms, some of them obviously rotating. Other thunderstorms, damaging winds coming toward Tuscaloosa in the next half hour. Strong storms racing across northeastern Tennessee. 8 counties there in northeast Tennessee under tornado warning. And do take shelter if you're in one of those that you see the warning scroll across your screen. Still here in Pennsylvania, Warren County, tornado warning there, and Cattaraugus County in western New York. And a solid line now of thunderstorms coming into the Pittsburgh area. Severe thunderstorm warning for Beaver County, just to the northwest of Pittsburgh, and Washington County, just to the southwest. Probably in a half hour, at least Pittsburgh, you'll see winds strong enough to knock down some branches at least. Warren?
All right, thanks, Dr. Forbes. We'll be checking back in with Dr. Forbes in the next half hour. As we mentioned at the top of the show, one of the hardest hit towns today, the Ohio town of Van Wert. Let's get an update on the situation here in this town that is to the north of Dayton and east of Fort Wayne, Indiana. And here we take a look at the latest reports coming in. The twister struck at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Buildings and homes damaged. Reports of people trapped, and unfortunately now there are reports that 2 people were killed as a result of the storm and numerous injuries. And we have some pictures to show you now. First pictures of damage caused by the tornado in Van Wert. County Sheriff's Department confirming that 2 people were killed by the storm, number of homes and buildings destroyed, and major damage to a trucking facility apparently there. The same storm system that produced the Van Wert tornado has also been spawning tornadoes in other parts of northwestern Ohio and eastern Indiana, and now pushing off to the east.
Tennessee is another state that's reeling after being hit by 2 separate rounds of tornadoes in the past 24 hours. At least 2 tornadoes were killers, taking the lives of 3 people. We'll just look at the damage right here in Montgomery County, Tennessee. Middle Tennessee bore the brunt of the severe weather that ripped through the region overnight. A husband and wife were killed when a tornado blew through a mobile home park right here in Montgomery County. Another person died in Carroll County when a tornado tipped over their mobile home. Well, let's get an update now on the severe weather in the south and also up through the Ohio Valley. Warren?
Still a very volatile weather situation as we progress into the later evening hours. And of course, anytime you have severe weather, it's bad, but it's particularly bad at night because people have gone to bed. They may not be aware that severe weather is coming into their area. So if you're headed off to bed, you have that NOAA weather alert radio, get it turned on. If you can't have the Weather Channel on, have some protection against severe weather. Right now, that cold front again advancing across the Ohio Valley. Behind it, some very chilly air, only in the upper 20s for the highs today in Fargo, North Dakota, mid 40s for Minneapolis. And as we look at the radar picture, even a little bit of snow falling in northern Iowa at the present time, might even pick up a little accumulation. Heavy rain, no doubt, in addition with the severe weather moving through the Ohio and Tennessee valleys right now, and we could easily pick up over an inch of rain from western New York down the spine of the Appalachians to the Great Smokies and even farther. As far as the forecast for tomorrow, that little disturbance that's bringing the snow to northern Iowa right now might bring a few showers. Chilly rain to Chicago for your morning commute. Still a bit showery in Cleveland, and a cooler day ahead for Louisville and Cincinnati as we see that colder air coming in. We go to the south, same cold front, same problems. As Dr. Forbes mentioned, some major problems: Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi. If you're watching from Georgia, watch out. This storm system is heading in your direction. So if you're headed off to bed, again, be prepared for the possibility of severe weather during the early morning hours. As far as the rainfall amounts, there we have it. Still a lot of rain still to fall, so might have some very soggy streets tomorrow morning. And all that wet weather heads eastbound into the Carolinas. Might see some severe weather tomorrow. Atlanta also looking a bit on the stormy side pretty much right through the day. Coming up, we'll take a look at what's happening in the Northeast and the West.